Terry Marsh speaking on fear. Terry Marsh, fear.
Fear. Lucy defined fear as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. I would like to share with you a personal story where fear played a big part in my life. So it was my senior year of college, and I had not taken a language requirement. My freshman year, I had taken French in high school, and I had to take a test, and I remembered nothing that I learned in high school. So I'm looking through the syllabus, and I'm like, oh my God, I'll take Chinese. It's worth 6 credits. I'll get 12 credits, and I'll know how to speak Chinese. This is going to be fantastic. So it was the first day that I walked into class, and I walked in, and there were 6 freshmen. They were all Chinese, and it was English as a second language, so easy A. So first semester, I worked my butt off to get a D. And it was just like, oh my God, this is turning into such a nightmare. So next semester came along, and everybody was going to Fort Lauderdale for spring break. And I just thought to myself, I had no money, and I was like, oh my God, I really want to go. Just before that, a week later, I had this small painting business, and someone said, can you paint my house? And I'm like, absolutely. So what do? I blow off all my midterms. I had a paper due, which I could just knock out. I had a group project, which was no problem. But I had Chinese, and I'm just like, you know something? I'll just come up with a doctor's note and just get out of this thing. So spent a week painting this house, made like $6,000. And I'm like, we are going to have a blast. My girlfriend and I, I'm like, we're going to have the best time ever. So we fly to Miami. We get down there, and it's like, you know something? We're going to Key West instead. So we've got the top down, we've got beers in the cooler, and we are just having the best time of our lives. We get to Key West, and it was just like we hook up with a bunch of friends, and my girlfriend at the time, she's like, oh my God, I have a little bit of a sore throat. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, let's just rally, go out just tonight. I'm sure it's just you're a little tired. So we go out. She gets the next day, she's just completely sick. So I'm just like, okay, like, let's try to rally. Do you just want to just go to the beach just for a little bit? And she's just laying there like dead. So the first part of the trip, she just literally laid in bed the whole time. So we were going to be there for 7 days. I could only get 5 days at this really nice hotel. And I'm like, we'll just wing it for the next 2. Well, I get sick, and I can't even get out of bed. And it's just like, there's just no way we're going to make it to Miami. So we are going down the streets of Key West with our suitcases, knocking on doors. There is no vacancy. So we end up staying in a dorm-style place where we had a shared bathroom, 2 beds. For the next 2 days, all we did is lay in bed, blow our noses with everybody partying until like 3 in the morning. So I get back, and I have to deal with Chinese. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? I was so sick that I was able to get out of my midterms. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So moving forward, it's Wednesday. My whole family comes. Everybody's excited to come that I'm graduating from college. And anyway, so my apartment was about the size of this. I had my mother, my grandmother, my stepdad, and 3 little sisters. And we're all just hanging out. And my dad's just like, cheers to Terry. Who would have guessed that he would ever be here at this point, graduating from college? Now, why do I say that? If we back up a little bit, I used to move every single year because my dad had us going somewhere else as he moved up the ladder as a corporate lawyer. So it was sophomore year, and I came back from a ski trip, and my parents basically said, I lived in Connecticut. My parents are like, we're moving to New Jersey in 3 weeks. And I'm like, I'm not going. So I went. To punish my parents, I basically said, you know something? I said to myself, I'm getting straight Fs. And I did. And that's not easy when you go to all your classes. So that same year, Taps, the movie Taps came out. And I'm just like, that's where I want to go. I'm just like, it was just seemed cool to me. I'm like, I like the challenge. So went to Valley Forge Military Academy, got straight A's, went to Villanova, and all of a sudden we're there. So it's Wednesday night before graduation, Dad's toasting, and everybody's just so proud of Terry. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the wall phone, it's like, ding, ding. And it's just like, Ashley picks up the phone, my girlfriend, she's like, Dr. Lee's on the phone. And I'm like, what? I said, let me just take this in the bedroom. And I'm like just totally like, I knew I had totally failed the test. But I just thought like power of not thinking about it. So it's going to my room. I'm like, Dr. Lee, there's got to be something we can do here. And I'm just like, I've got a job on Wall Street. I was just totally bullshitting. Please, please, please. He's like, I'll tell you what, do all the chapters in the book, 10 of them. And I'm just like, and I'll pass you. And I'm like, oh my God, Dr. Lee, thank you so much. So I'm like, guys, I'm not really feeling too well. I'll meet you guys at brunch the next day and we'll sort of do our own thing. So they leave and I tell my girlfriend, like, put on the coffee. I'm going to be up all night to knock this out. It takes me 10 hours to do chapter 1. So then I'm pacing. I'm just so stressed out. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So there was this one kid that had a crush on me in the class. This guy, Johnny Lang. And I'm just like, how do I find this guy? I looked at my wallet and I found his number. And I'm just like, I will give this kid 10 grand to help me out with this thing. So I call him up and I'm like, hey, Johnny, what do you think? And he's just like, how about $50? And I'm like, done. Anyway, it's graduation day, cap and gown, sitting in the passenger seat. My dad's driving. And we're going down through first we had to stop at Johnny Lang's. Then we had to stop. And I looked at it and it was just like, it was the perfect document in Chinese. I'm like, oh man. We get to Dr. Lee's house. I'm like, hey, Dr. Lee, here you go. He's like, Terry, I passed you. So anyway, I came back. No one knows what's going on. And I'm just like, let's go to graduation. So anyway, what's the point of the story? Fear is fear. But if you can kind of like address the fear, like fear besides, adrenaline, fear also creates endorphins and also serotonin. And they know that serotonin increases cognitive, it releases cognitive, which basically at the end of the day, increases brain function. So next time you have fear, embrace it. Oh, thank you.